Everyone, welcome back to another live episode of the Relevant Recruiter Show. This is your host, Donnie Gupton. Today, we're going to be digging into Paiger. We're going to be doing a full demo of the product Paiger. If you've been curious, you're in the right place. If you're not even sure what Paiger is, then you're going to want to stay tuned because this is an excellent tool. Now, our guest today is Darren Westall. Darren is a kind of career we'll just call him software development junkie in the recruiting space. So he's worked with Broadbean and he saw a unique opportunity and started Paiger back in 2018. And we're going to let him kind of tell that part of the story. But we're going to hear a little bit about Darren, his story today, and we're going to dig into a live demo of Paiger. Now, if you're with us, go ahead and go in the comments. Let us know where you're at around the globe and give us a like, thumbs up so that we can know that you can hear us on the show. Darren, thank you so much for being on the Relevant Recruiter Show with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yep. So to get us kicked off here, Darren, why don't you just give us a little bit of a background? Tell us your journey that led you to create Paiger and what was the gap that you saw in the recruiting industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the recruitment industry for, how many years? 16, 17 years, something like that. But never as a recruiter. I'm a tech guy through and through. So I started my career as a junior software developer at Broadbean, as you mentioned. Ironically, I actually failed IT at college, but somehow managed to get through that interview and get a job as a junior dev. So I think the CTO must have been off that day during the interview process, but I got the job anyway. And I was there for 10 years and I worked my way up the career ladder there, eventually become their CTO across EMEA. So oversaw their product and technical teams. So I worked for 10 years, reached my dream job, and then realized I was absolutely miserable. And that's no reflection on Broadbean. It's a great company, but I'm a big person that's always, I need to have a goal. I need to know what the next thing is. And once I reached that goal at such an early age, I felt a bit empty inside, which I know sounds odd, right? I know it does, right? Much to my wife's dismay, I decided I was going to quit my job, right? And that's where Paiger was born. So the reason Paiger was born was because I was frustrated. I wanted to know what was next. But really, it's because I spent 10 years looking at recruiters' LinkedIn profiles, and all I saw was job, I'm hiring. Did you know I've got a job? Did you know I'm a recruiter? And I realized that actually LinkedIn is a social network. It's not just a place to advertise your jobs. It's not a job board. And I wanted to change that. So we set out to change that initially. And Paiger's now evolved, if you like, over the last 5 years to be an all-in-one tool for a recruiter, for a 360 recruiter, whether it's personal branding, business development, which we'll dig into later. But the initial goal was to change the way recruiters use LinkedIn.
Love it. So before we get into the demo, I would imagine there's a lot of folks that are watching with this live that are just completely unfamiliar with Paiger. Can you explain in real simple terms what Paiger is? I refer to it as like a Swiss Army knife for recruiters, but how do you describe Paiger?
Yeah, I describe it as we took a 360 recruitment role and we broke it down into 4 pillars. The first one being personal branding, which for me underpins absolutely everything you do. Every phone call you make, every email you send, they check you out on LinkedIn and they're asking themselves, do I trust this person with my business? Do I trust this person with my career? And we want the answer to be yes. The second pillar is business development. How do we help you find new vacancies, new roles, new jobs to fill? And then source and attract. How do we source and attract candidates for those roles? And the fourth pillar, last but never least, is marketing. If you have a marketing team internally, whether it's outsourced or internal, actually, they're producing great content to drive more leads, more candidates, whether it's white papers, salary surveys, blog posts. How do you get recruiters to actually share it, drive all that traffic back to the website? So we took that 360 recruitment role and broke it down into those 4 pillars.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I've been, playing with Paiger for years myself. My clients, a lot of my clients are using Paiger. So I'm excited for you to be able to give a demo. And on this training, we're not going to waste your time. We're not going to go and do a bunch of fluff. We're just going to get right into this demo right now. So Darren's going to walk us through Paiger, how you can utilize Paiger in your recruiting business. And this thing is an excellent tool that I consistently get great feedback on. So Darren, why don't you walk us through this thing here?
Absolutely.
And while he's going through this, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off there, Darren, but as he's going through this, feel free to drop comments drop questions in the comments, and I will try to get them to Darren as quickly as possible and get all your questions answered as you go through this demo.
Cool. I was just going to mention, Paul said he's in Florida. I'm there in August, so if you fancy a beer in Florida, Paul, let me know. Right. Can you see my screen? I guess is the first question.
Not yet, but now you can.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through the 4 pillars, as I mentioned: personal branding, business development, source and attract, and then marketing. Let's start with personal branding. Now, the best recruiters are also marketers. What do I mean by that? On average, a recruiter's got 2,500 connections on LinkedIn, more if they've been in the industry for a long time. And they're all people you want to build up trust and credibility with, right? People buy from people buy from people they trust. And that will never change despite all of the technology that's happening, the AI advancements, etc. Recruitment's a human-to-human business. So in an ideal world, to build up that trust and credibility, you would share great content, valuable content onto LinkedIn every single day. But we do not live in an ideal world. Although posting on LinkedIn might be on your to-do list or your day plan today, it's the easiest thing to put off until tomorrow, next week, next month. And for some recruiters watching, it may have even been a quarter since you last posted something valuable on LinkedIn. Right? That's the problem Paiger sets out to change. So I want you to think of Paiger as giving everybody in the business, every recruiter, their own marketing assistant. And they train their assistant what content their audience will find interesting. So let me log into my account and I'll show you how to get set up. So when you first log in, you hit your dashboard, head over to My Assistant on the left-hand side. The first thing you'll do is connect your social accounts. So we do support Facebook business profiles, Instagram business profiles, Twitter or X accounts, as they're now called. But for most people, it will just be LinkedIn. So you click on LinkedIn. We are one of their API partners, so you connect your account via their API. So we don't see your password or anything like that. So just connect your account there. Configure your social assistant and then head to Sites and Prompts. As with any new employee, you need to train them, and Paiger's no different. So there's 2 ways to train your assistant. The first way is prompts. The second way is websites. I'm just going to show you on prompts first, and then we'll jump into websites. So the way prompts work is you give us what you want to talk about on LinkedIn, what you want to be known for, what's your specialist niche, and then Paiger will pick one of your prompts at random every single day and write you a first draft of a LinkedIn post. For me, the number one reason people don't post regularly on LinkedIn is writer's block. They know what they want to talk about, but they don't quite know how to say it. Or if you take a 360 recruiter and think about what they actually have to do, we expect them to be the best salesperson, the best resourcer, but also in recent times, also the best copywriter, which is a bit unrealistic, right? So you can add your own prompts here, or you can click Give Me Ideas. When you click Give Me Ideas, you can tell it your industry. So I'm going to type in life science as an example. So if I specialize in the life science industry, what that will do is actually give me 4 ideas for prompts that I could use to write posts. So we'll just let that load up. Any questions, Donnie, while we're waiting for that to load?
Yeah, actually, and it's actually a little bit off topic, but you brought up something that I think is important for people to understand. Is you mentioned that you're kind of one of the API partners with LinkedIn, and I know anytime there's a LinkedIn plugin that there's that isn't an API partner, you have a chance of kind of getting slapped on the wrist with LinkedIn. Do you guys have that part pretty dialed in?
Yeah, I mean, we use their official API.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not going to name names, but it's not one of the other ones.
Yep. Cool.
So these are my 4 ideas. Now I can edit these. I can put my own thoughts and my own tone of voice if you like. But for now, I'm just going to press add. So I'm just going to train my assistant to say add. Ideally, what we want you to do is as quickly as possible, get to the point where you've got 5 prompts in your account, and then that'll give you some variety. But over the first month with us, we'd want you to get to more like 20 or 30 really good prompts. But we've got some prompts in our account now. So I'm just going to press the blue button here, and I will show you what the post looks like. So it's completely optimized for LinkedIn. So what I mean by that is it will write the post in the right structure. It will have the headline at the top, so encourage people to click see more. It will then have the paragraphs and then the 3 hashtags at the end. So you can see here that that's set out correctly. Now I've got emojis turned on, so it's including an emoji on there, but you can really customize that under your assistant. So if you want emojis, if you don't, etc. So every single day, my assistant will send me a LinkedIn post. So I'm going to come in the morning, and waiting for me in my inbox is that LinkedIn post. One of the really cool things that you can do, though, is under My Assistant, you can set what we call your AI personality. So if you want to have a particular tone of voice, you want to write in a specific language, you want to include statistics, you want to whatever it may be. You could even take one of your existing LinkedIn posts, copy and paste it in and say, copy my writing style. So you can really train your assistant to get to know you, the way you speak. So that AI content that's being drafted for you isn't 90% of the way there. It's more like 97% of the way there. And then you've got that little bit of tinkering to do each day.
Now, do you recommend, because this is just kind of my personal recommendation, but for me, when I see anything that's written by AI, whether it's Paiger or ChatGPT, whatever's out there right now, is I always recommend like the last touch being a human touch. Not just taking whatever Paiger comes up with verbatim and just posting it, but making sure that you kind of flush it out and make it yours. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say is that if you can get that personality nailed down, so if you continually add to it, you'll get closer and closer to the point where you're not making changes. So we've got
you really continually train that personality.
Absolutely. Like if you get a post tomorrow and think, right, actually, I changed this, well, go to your personality and say, don't do this, do that. And the next day, that's not going to happen. So, after a month of adding those changes, you get really close to actually just being able to share content.
Yep. Awesome.
Right, we're going to move away from prompts and move on to websites, the second way to train your assistant. So what curated content would your audience be interested in? What news websites do they read? What podcasts do they listen to? What YouTube channels do they watch? Every single day, your assistant will go out to the internet, find you the latest and greatest in your industry, and then send it to you in that one email. So that email you get from Paiger becomes more like a daily newspaper. I want you to read it, digest it, get up to speed on your industry, bring it into conversations with candidates and clients on the phone, but also in one click, you can bring those conversations online as well. So at the top, you've got your AI drafted post for the day. Underneath that, you've got your market intelligence. Let me show you how to set it up. So under Assistant, you would just click Add Website. If you've already got a list of websites you check every day, just paste them in here, give it a name and click Add Website. Quite often, though, that isn't the case with the recruiters we work with. So all you need to do is hit Choose Websites. We've already categorized the best websites across different industries. So if we go to science and pharma for a second, sticking on the life science front, we can go through and we can click the plus on the ones we're interested in. So if you don't see the plus, it's because I've already got it added. And just like that, I've trained my assistant to give me that great intel every single day. I'll show you an example of what comes through. So if I just go back to dashboard, your email that you get sent is also replicated on your dashboard. So on the left-hand side, I've got my AI content here, but on the right-hand side, I've got my market intel. So you can go through, choose your category, and then just like you would in your inbox, just press share. So let's press share on that one. That will pull through the post you want to share, pull through the image. But what's really cool is if you press Ghostwriter down here, Ghostwriter will go to the article, it will read it for you, and then write you a first draft of a LinkedIn post using the article and your personality. So it's going to combine the two and actually, again, get you 90% of the way there very, very quickly. So you're sharing this great industry knowledge, showcasing your expertise, position yourself as that expert in what you do, but it's saving you that time every single day.
That's excellent. I think that's really cool. And I think one of the other use cases that people should, be thinking about, which you guys are just making this so easy, is, to become a subject matter expert in the space. And I think for a lot of people, that's an overwhelming thing. They don't view themselves as being an expert, but when you have news and articles that can really, and this isn't like the shortcut, this is you actually being that are delivered to you, that shares with you all the industry trends and information. It's such an easy way to start to become more of that subject matter expert or the authority in the market when you have this type of content just teed up and coming your way all the time.
Absolutely. My big thing is when people look at your LinkedIn profile, I want them to know that what you're recruiting, that you've got your finger on the pulse and you're somebody that they can trust with their business or career. And by sharing this content, that is what happens.
Yep.
Now, I've got to show you this part. Now, this is the reason we're called Paiger. So some of you people watching may be old enough to remember old school pagers or beepers. I certainly am. This feature is the reason we've got our name. So when you set up your assistant, you actually make a commitment. Paiger will ask you, how often do you want to update your social media? How often do you want to update LinkedIn? And let's say you said every single day. Your assistant will then actually hold you accountable. And if you don't share something that daily email, you don't share something already scheduled, your assistant's going to step in and say, hang on a minute, you said you were going to do this every single day. Why don't you share this? It will pick a piece of content for you, write a piece of content for you, and then send you a text message to your phone. And all you have to do is read it. If you're happy with it as is, say the word yes. But what I encourage you to do is use the word update, because you can actually put your own thoughts on it directly from your phone. So here I could reply update space. It's great to see investment in the staffing space. This app's just raised $3 million in funding. How do you think they're going to change the industry? But I do it all from my phone, no matter where I am. So if I'm out meeting candidates and clients, or I'm on holiday sipping on sangria, it doesn't matter. I can update my LinkedIn every single day, as I said I was going to do. If you read it and think that's not quite right, but I do want to share something today, just text back the word another, and your assistant will find you something new. So yes, update and another ensures that you are reaching your own commitment, reaching your goal, and you never forget to update your social media again.
It's awesome. Built-in accountability.
Exactly. Now, if you do what I just showed you, you'd be in the top 5% of LinkedIn users, because 95% of LinkedIn members don't share content. They're what we call LinkedIn lurkers at Paiger. Right now, I don't want anyone to be a LinkedIn lurker, and once you have Paiger, that changes. But what I'm going to show you next is how to get in the top 2-3%, people that schedule their own content and potentially do video. So let's jump back into our Paiger account, head over to share, and let's do a brand new post. Now I'm going to post to my LinkedIn profile, so I'll highlight that dark blue. I can type in something and use the AI to help me, or I can choose one of my save prompts down here, or I can just write an original post. For the sake of speed, let's choose one of my prompts. So that's going to write my post for me. But on the right-hand side is where I can bring this post to life. I can click the plus icon to upload an image, a video, or a PDF document. So we do support native video and carousel posts on LinkedIn. But my favorite button, and usually a marketer's favorite button as well, is this briefcase icon here. If you click on that, you've got preset imagery branded to your company. So yours won't be me pointing to the sky. It'll be branded to your business, your colors. And all you do is take a text, pop it in the box above, choose the image that you want, and then press build image. Within seconds, you've got a fully branded image that follows your brand guidelines, uses the right font. There's no chance of marketing shouting at you, and you didn't need to be a Canva or a Photoshop expert. It's all built in, ready to go. So within seconds, I've just put together a great LinkedIn post, right? I've got my headline, I've got my stats, I've got my call to action, I've got my hashtags, I've got my branded image, and I would just scroll to the bottom and I'd say, put that out for me tomorrow at 7:20. Now that's a good LinkedIn post, but what I want you guys doing is great LinkedIn posts. So one of the best forms of content on LinkedIn is video. If you click this video icon, that will fire open your camera. There I am. Press start. It can give you a quick countdown so you can make sure your hair's done, your makeup's looking good. And then when you're ready to go. Hey everyone, this is a quick video to talk about how you navigate your career in life science. I've included some tips in this post, but I'm really keen to hear what you think in the comments. Let me know your tips for navigating the career in life science below. I am actually looking for an XYZ in ABC. The salary is 123. Pop me a message. Let's change your life. A little bit over the top at the end with the video, right? But you get the idea. Yep. So I've now got this great content. I've got the video. I can then click add logo, and that will overlay my logo for me on the top left. So you've got a fully branded video ready to go out. And you can then click add subtitles. That will transcribe the audio for you, let you edit them, and then burn it onto the video. Really important, because over 80% of video on LinkedIn is watched on mute. And our videos play natively on LinkedIn. So when this goes out, it's going to auto play in your newsfeed as well.
It's awesome.
So we're nearly there to a great post, right? Now, yep. I've got 3 hashtags here. LinkedIn loves 3 hashtags. If you use more than 3, they start to penalize your post. But if you use less than 3, it's a missed opportunity, because every hashtag is an opportunity to reach beyond your first 3 connections. So we want to make sure the hashtags we use are going to give our post the most reach. That's what this hashtag research button's here for. If we click on that, it will analyze your hashtags and tell you whether they're great, good, or not so good. So try and find 3 great hashtags with every single post. And I've got 3 great hashtags, so I'm going to keep them. But you could change them, etc. See the exposure on Twitter, see which ones are going to be the best ones for you. You can ask for changes on your post if you wanted to make it shorter, etc. That's all built in. But the final thing I want to show you is this comment with box. One of the best ways to get more people to see your post is to get more comments. The more comments your post have, the more people they share it to. One of the best ways to get more comments is to actually comment on your own post and ask a question. Drive that conversation in the comments. So I could put here, what are your top tips for progressing your career in life science. And this post will go out tomorrow. The video will be there. And I will also then comment on the post as myself as well, asking that question to drive that engagement. Any questions on scheduling content?
No, curious about hashtags because I've been seeing a lot recently, and LinkedIn. There's never a straight answer, right? So I've always worked off of the 3 hashtags for years, and I've actually been testing over the last month or so with no hashtags, just because I've been reading things that like hashtags are becoming less important on LinkedIn. Like, what are you knowing, so to speak, like when it comes to 2024 around hashtags? Is there any new updates or anything like that LinkedIn's come out with, or?
There's always, like you say, everyone's got their own opinions. For me, I've always stuck with 3, and it's always served me well. I've got the 3 that I use: recruitment, recruiters, recruiting, and those 3 hashtags. I know I get people come to me from them. So I'm not changing what I'm doing right now, but I'll constantly keep an eye on it. Which interestingly brings us on to the next part, actually, because I think it's really important to keep up to date with those changes. And that's also inside Paiger. So I'm a big believer that having amazing tech is one thing, and it is amazing tech, right? But you also need amazing training. So inside your account, if you go over to training, not only have you got full training videos on everything I'm taking you through today, so if you get a new starter, for example, they can easily get up to speed on Paiger, but you've also got what we call our LinkedIn University. So everything we know about LinkedIn, what's the best times to post, hashtags, how to structure your posts, etc. Some advice on your strategy, everything built in. It's only 32 minutes long though. So literally half of a lunchtime, you can get up to speed on the algorithm, and we're constantly updating this as well. Once you've finished it, you can take the quiz. If you get over 75%, we award you with your Paiger certificate, so you can shout about that on LinkedIn, print it off, put it on the fridge at home, whatever you want to do. There's no judgment from us. But the really cool thing is here is it gives you that basic understanding of the algorithm, so you can actually be more successful at posting, more successful at Paiger, which I think is really important. I'd almost start with this training and then the Paiger training for me.
Right. Excellent. I've actually been through the Paiger training, and I agree. I mean, with me being in the position I'm at, a lot of people want me to recommend their software, and I can tell you very clearly that the software companies and tech companies like yourself that have robust training like you do have much better customer experience.
Yeah,
there's a lot of tech out there where people don't even understand how to utilize half of it. So, and your guys' training portal is awesome. So,
thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're nearly done with personal branding. We're nearly moving on to business development. But the final thing to show you is the wall. So this is more if you've got a team, right? Now, normally what happens when the team get access to Paiger, they get very, very excited and they start posting on LinkedIn, which is absolutely what I want. But what I don't want is emails around the office or Teams messages saying, I've just posted on LinkedIn. Can you like it for me? And you think, oh, not another email, right? If everyone's posting once a day, that's an email from every team member every single day. We don't want that. So instead, inside your account, click on the wall. The wall will show you all the posts that have been done across your business from inside Paiger. So I can see Maria's posted this. I can see Ella's posted that. Hopefully you guys appreciate our Monday and Friday meme. But all you do is click on the post. It takes you directly to the post on LinkedIn, where you can then comment and like and support each other, tap into each other's networks. But rather than send those emails, just once a day, visit the wall. Everything's waiting for you in there. As a business owner or marketer, you can use the wall to review what's going out as well. Make sure you're happy with it. Make sure it's on brand, etc. And that is personal branding. Any questions on personal branding in the comments, or any thoughts from you, Donnie, before we move on to BD?
The only question was, how do you build the custom art? But then you already went through, and he said he asked that and then got it. So I think we're pretty clear on the personal branding questions. Let us know if there are any other questions on personal branding. I can kind of circle back. I don't have anything specifically. I think, I've been through it. I enjoy it. So yeah, let's just keep on going to the BD part.
Perfect. Let's jump into business development. Now, actually, I'll show you inside our account. So underneath the social side of Paiger, we've got identify, find vacancies, research, and outreach. This is our business development suite. So let's start with identify. Identify is all about finding companies that are hiring soon. And we do that by finding what we call key hiring indicators. The fact they've been through rounds of funding, they're making senior appointments, or they're expanding to new offices, new regions. So the same way you use Boolean to find great candidates, you can use it to find these great companies. Now, I've got mine set to tech and London, but you can obviously expand on that. in the last 30 days and press search. Now, what I can see here is that I'm not sure how to say, but I'm going to go Orioli Networks have just raised 11.6 million euros, and Cojuice have just raised 10 million pounds. Now, they will be investing that money into talent, right? There's no doubt about it. They will be scaling up their teams. And the cool thing is, once you're happy with your search, just click add to my assistant. You can add it for the category that you're on, or you can add it for all the categories along the top. So let's just add that one for all categories. So anything that mentions tech and London that are senior appointment based or tech funding or office expansions are going to come through to me and help drive my desk forward, right? These are all reasons that people will be spending money on recruiters very, very soon if they're not already. So office expansion is obviously much more straightforward. If they open up a new office, they've got to put bums on seats. So EIC Education, congratulations on your London office. I'm sure you need some staff for it now.
Yep.
That's the first 3 tabs. The next 3 tabs for me is actually all about candidates. So acquisitions, restructuring, and job cuts. These are all reasons that people at a business may be open to a conversation with a recruiter, right? They may have just been acquired. Even though the acquisition may end up being a good thing, they're more open to a conversation today than they were yesterday because they were just unsure what's going on. So if I was looking for tech talent right now, I'd be speaking to the people that are working at Spirit Communications PLC. I'd be speaking to people at R10 Consulting. They're unsure on the future. The same thing for restructuring and job cuts. If they weren't part of the restructuring, part of the job cuts, that doesn't mean that they're not open to a conversation. Right? Unilever here, I would be looking at their people, which Unilever won't want to hear if you're watching this. But that's where I'd be concentrate my efforts today, see if I can get any candidates from there. Any questions on Identify before we move on to find vacancies?
No, I think that's excellent. I love the fact that you guys give, I think the thing that everybody understands in this industry and executes pretty consistently is that finding vacancies and chasing the open jobs. But I like how you guys are looking at, well, what are the other things that indicate hiring? Because I personally think, chasing jobs puts you really far behind the 8 ball and makes it pretty transactional. But it's awesome to be able to, I love this feature of this tool here. So yeah, this is all,
this is before they start that, right? Find vacancies is actually exactly what you just described, right? So if you're old enough to remember Paigers, you're old enough to remember Ronsil, this does exactly what it says on the tin. So you can give us a job title or a company name. If you've got a list of companies you already work with, you can track their jobs as well. But let's just go back to job title. So I'm going to do clinical operations manager in the UK. You can filter by contract type, so contracts and perm as well. But let's just do all contract types and press find vacancies. Now, we are a layer above Google for Jobs, which means we search thousands of job boards, aggregator sites, career sites, ATS platforms. We remove roles from other staffing agencies, so you're left with roles from direct employers. If you do happen to see a role from a staffing agency, just hit that report as agency button. We're using our 7,000 recruiters to train the algorithm better. But the cool thing is you get told who's the company that's looking, what the job title is, where we found it. You can then press save vacancy if you're doing like a BD block, save vacancy, run another search, save vacancy, and that will build up your save vacancy list here, which you can then download as a CSV or add to the CRM, etc. As you go. But you'll probably notice a pattern at this point. Once you're happy with your search, that's when I want you to press add to my assistant. Every single day, your assistant will alert you to the new roles that have gone live in your niche in the last 24 hours. So you can add them on LinkedIn, start working them, etc., alongside those identify alerts. So that daily newspaper now is your AI draft post, your market intel, things you can talk about on LinkedIn, your identify alerts, and now find vacancies as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. A lot of my clients that are using that, love that feature, and how easy you guys make that just because you're scraping all the boards yourself. It's all there in one spot.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing, you could try and do that yourself, but you end up with roles from other staffing agencies, right? So you spend more time removing the staffing agencies than you would have done if you just got Paiger, right? So huge time saver, but also really, really accurate as well. So let's jump into research. Now, I'm a big fan of personalized outreach rather than spray and pray, which I hope everyone on the call is as well. But I do appreciate how long it can take to research a business to find that nugget of information, the reason that person's going to take your cold call, respond to your email, accept your connection request. That's the problem research sets out to solve. So you can give us any company name and domain name, press research, and we just run like Google searches, like 40 different Google searches, and show you all the information we can find on one screen. So on the right-hand side, you've got news articles that mention checkout.com. Underneath that, I can see what roles they've got live on Google for Jobs right now. On the left-hand side, you've got potential decision makers. Defaults to C-level, but you can search by job title, location. But my favorite thing is actually this research button here. If you press this research button, it researches the individual and it will look for news articles that mention them. Try and identify their Twitter or X account, because quite often people are more personal on that platform. But my favorite one is podcasts. So I can click on the podcast, click play, listen to what they said on the podcast, and then view on LinkedIn and build this into my connection request or my email. So my email would say, hey, I was listening to you on the 20 VC podcast. What you said about XYZ was really interesting. I noticed you're hiring for a BDR at the moment over in London. I happen to have a candidate that is speaks Spanish. And the best part is they want to be in the office, which I know is really important to you. Would you be able to connect me with the person internally that's handling this on your behalf? And that's what I got from this screen, right, in a matter of seconds. Now, if you search and there's nothing out there, nothing will come up. But rather than spend 15, 20 minutes researching, you can spend 15, 20 seconds and really personalize your outreach.
Yeah, I think that's incredible to have all that in one spot. Like you're saying, I mean, all of the information to do the outreach is all there, but you could spend 15 to 20 minutes just finding it. Then another 15, 20 minutes organizing what you want to say in a video, so to speak, and having it all in one spot is just incredibly powerful. So people can move fast, because that's the downfall of personalized outreach, right? Is the lift that it takes to do it.
I always say to people, is it worth the squeeze, right? If you got to a 20K, 25K, 30K, whatever it may be, placement fee, I'd argue it's worth the time, right? So rather than email 1,000 people, let's reach out to 10, 15 really good quality, high fit people. And I think that's a better use of your time, especially if Paiger can really speed that up.
Yep.
Let's jump into outreach, because you mentioned something there around video. So I am a really big fan of personalized outreach. Now, what I used to do for every prospect was record a video. I'd record a 4 or 5 minute video introducing myself, the reason I chose to reach out. I then re-record the same video because I ended up swearing because my hair wasn't right or something. What I found myself doing was spending 15 minutes sometimes before I've even sent one message, right? Which was painful because I really wanted to do more prospecting in an hour. But I really also love personalized outreach. That's why we built this tool. So you can give us any URL. It could be a link to a case study, a testimonial on your website if it's for a prospect, or even like your Calendly link so they can book in directly. Or if it's for a candidate, it could be a link to a job on your website as well. And for the sake of this, let's pretend Google is a link to a job on our website and Lisa is the ideal candidate. So I'm going to say, Lisa, let's grab 5 minutes. Lisa, I think you're the perfect fit. Again, choose your branded image and then click create link. That will give me a new link that I can now send to Lisa. I can copy and paste to put it into a LinkedIn invite, or if I'm already connected, I just hit the message button and that will open up LinkedIn for me. I then hit send as private message, type in the prospect or the candidate's name, type in the message as I usually would, and hit send. But when Lisa opens up her inbox, amongst that sea of recruiters, this is what she sees. Lisa, I think you're the perfect fit. Lisa, let's grab 5 minutes. Clicks on that link, goes directly to the job on your website, your Calendly, your case study, your testimonial, whatever it may be. So you've still got that level of personalization, but it didn't take you 4 to 5 minutes or maybe 10, 15 minutes, depending on how many takes you do. It took you 4 to 5 seconds if you can type. So that's outreach. And that's the end of the BD pillar as well. Any questions on outreach or any of the BD?
Can you do videos on that, or is it just you're just doing kind of like a thumbnail?
You can absolutely put a video in here, so you can. It's any link, right? So if you've got VidCharge, you can do that as well.
Yeah, got it. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. All right, let's jump into source and attract. Find and attract better candidates faster. For me, that always starts with a good job advert. Right now, I appreciate we're moving more and more into headhunting. I've had so many conversations where people say to me, "Oh, advertising jobs doesn't work." Right, but then I look at the quality of the adverts. At least in the UK market, sometimes they're 1 or 2 lines. It's a copy and paste of a job spec. There's a reason that good people aren't applying for those jobs, right? But I get why people do it. It's because it's a time-consuming thing. Now, the first thing I want to show you is Ghostwriter, but for long-form content. So inside our account, if we go to Ghostwriter, you can use Ghostwriter for blogs or LinkedIn articles, but also job adverts. And the really cool thing is you just speak to it. So the idea is you get off the phone with a hiring manager, they tell you all about the role, you come into Paiger and you just tell Paiger what the role is. So bear with me while I speak to my laptop, which sounds a bit weird. My client is a tech company based in London. They're recruiting for a DevOps engineer. The salary is £70,000 per annum. There's a really good training budget for the successful applicants, and the office overlooks the Thames River. So just whatever it is you've got, tell us about it, and then press write it for me. Now, using AI, that will write what we call a candidate-centric job advert. What I mean by that is it won't just be a list of requirements, it'll be a reason to read more, and it's got a marketing twist to it. Now, you can actually set in the back end a template. So if you say, this is how I structure my job adverts, Paiger will actually take what you speak and put it onto that template for you and expand on things for you as well. It doesn't take 2 to 4 minutes. It's much quicker than that. There you go. As I said, it's now finished. So here's my job advert, which you saw took a matter of seconds. And that's following our template that we've got set in the back end. So you can absolutely set your own template as well. You would just copy and that and post that out, put it onto your website, etc.
So you can upload like your own template if you had your own style, and then kind of train your assistant to write that way.
Absolutely, and that's one of the big things, right? Because you want to be able to say, look, we want to always have key duties and responsibilities here. We need to have this statement at the end, so you can tell us what it is that you need to have in your template, and then we'll build that for you. So your adverts are always uniformed, but very quickly you can go from what I said at the top to actually a very good job advert that will encourage people to apply.
Yep.
Now, if you use our advert writer, you won't have these problems anyway. But any advert that you put onto your website, we will check for 3 things for you. The first one being swear words. I didn't ask at the start, am I allowed to swear? I'm assuming so.
Yeah, you can swear. It's okay. Yeah.
Cool. If there's any filters. So my favorite ever alert we sent out, and it was just before Christmas, was for 9-hour shits. So their job advert actually said 9-hour shits in it. Now, what they meant was 9-hour shift, right? 9-hour shift. So if we find any swear words or spelling errors in your job adverts, we'll send you an email so you can change it before it goes elsewhere, before a client spots it, before a candidate spots it. But the big one's actually gender bias. If we find any of your adverts are strongly masculine coded, so they're proven to put females off applying for them, we'll send you an email again so you can change it. You won't get hundreds of emails, right? You just won't. For me, this is actually a fantastic sales tool. When you're talking to hiring managers, HR directors, pitching for new business, I want you to be able to say categorically, we've got technology in place to make sure we don't put off female applicants, which can be the difference between getting onto a PSL or moving from a PSL to retained, depending on your industry. So you know that Paiger's got your back when it comes to these 3 things. So we've got a really good job advert that's designed to get people to apply. We're not going to put anyone off applying. Now it's all about driving great candidates from our network back to our website. And now what normally happens is one of my biggest frustrations in recruitment actually is that we don't do much repeat business, right? We place a candidate, we get them a job, we change their lives literally, and then 2 years' time when they're unhappy, they don't come back to us, which frustrates me, right? And the reason for that, I think, is because we don't keep front of mind. When they're looking to change jobs, they go to ZipRecruiter, they go to Indeed, whatever it may be. But by actually connecting with them on LinkedIn, nurturing them through the content, and then sharing your jobs, the next time they have a bad day, we want them to come back to you, because why wouldn't they? You helped them before. So if we zoom in on this job here was shared by Ricky Martin. It's got a really nice branded image, the job title overlaid in the right font, following the brand guidelines, links back to the job on your website with something called UTM tracking code. So you can see all of the reports in Google Analytics, how much website traffic did we drive, how many candidates did you get. It's then got the status written for you. So job title, salary, if it was available, if it were available, we'd pull that through. Location gets hashtags to reach beyond your first 3 connections again. You've then got the paragraph where you introduce the role, followed by the call to action, and any more hashtags that you choose. So you could have Recruiter Ricky, or you could have hashtag life science, hashtag tech, depending on your sector. The really cool thing here, though, is Ricky did absolutely nothing to advertise this job, and neither did marketing. All you need to do is put it onto your website, and your assistant will put together the image for you, write the status for you, put the hashtags on it for you, and then give you a message to share it out. So literally there's no human involvement whatsoever. Your assistant does all of this for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's amazing, because I know how many people want to get more creative with their, job adverts. But just, yeah, they're not creative. They're recruiters, which is fine, right? You're taking that whole lift off, to be able to do this. And I think one of the things that I try to encourage people to like think about, like, sharing jobs and things like that isn't necessarily from attracting the best talent, but it's more from just establishing your brand in the marketplace. I think this is another branding, activity, which is, you want to make sure that your market understands clearly what you do. And it's like, okay, well, if I told you I'm the top, tech recruiter, and then, oh, guess what? I've got this, tech role open and I'm constantly driving that narrative. That's where we really build a strong brand. And you guys make it so easy to do that.
Yeah, I agree on client acquisition as well, right? If I was looking for a new CTO and I go onto LinkedIn and see somebody else recruiting for a CTO, I will reach out to them, especially if I've seen their content. I've built up that trust and credibility, as we spoke about already. So yeah. I'm with you. I think it's a two-pronged approach. Now, the other thing you can do is share a selection of your hottest roles. This is great for like Sunday night, right? Sunday night, you could schedule a post and you could say, not looking forward to work tomorrow. These are the roles I'm currently working on. And Paiger will put together a branded gift that will rotate through the job titles for you. So you come in on Monday after scheduling that post, maybe on the Friday, and you've got those warm conversations waiting for you. It's just another thing where, Sunday night is often when people are thinking about changing jobs. You can be at home sipping on wine, beers, whatever you want to do, but actually on LinkedIn, you're sharing your latest opportunities in a really good, attractive way. Now, I showed you outreach for candidates already as part of the BD, but obviously you can use that for candidates as well as business development. But the final part to this pillar is building complex boolean strings. So let me just log back into my account, and underneath Ghostwriter, you'll see boolean searches. If you click on that, you can give us a job title. So let's do Java developer in New York, and press build search. Now, using AI, that will write you a complex boolean string that includes synonyms or variations of the job title. So these are all the different things they could call themselves. Then you've got the key skills that are required. But my favorite part is if you give us a location, it will include locations up to a 1-hour commute. So you're casting a really wide net. You can make changes to this, press save. Once you've saved it, it stores itself in what we call your Boolean bank. You can jump into any of these job boards in one click. So if I just show you Indeed, that will pull through that search string and then show you the matching candidates. You can translate it. So if you're doing anything in Europe, you can translate this into different languages, or you can copy and paste it to share it wherever you want. But very, very quickly, you go from no Boolean knowledge to actually being quite the Boolean ninja. Really great for new recruiters to the industry, or if you just need to find that really niche candidate, come in here, give us a job title, location. It's going to write you a really great string.
Do you have that set up? Because I have a lot of recruiters that are recruiting using Sales Navigator. Do you guys have that Boolean tied into Sales Nav, or just Recruiter?
You would just need to click copy and then you can paste it. So you can paste it wherever you want. So yeah, just have Paiger open and then press copy and you can paste it wherever you want.
Excellent.
And that's the end of Source and Attract. Any questions on Source and Attract? Any comments before we move on to marketing?
Yeah, we're heading into the last pillar here, or the marketing pillar. So if you guys do have any questions, please go in and share. And if you guys are watching right now and finding value in this tool, just go ahead and tap that like button. Appreciate Darren taking the time to walk us through and showcase this killer tool. So yeah, let's keep moving forward, Darren. I'll let you know if we get any questions that come through.
Sounds good. Let's jump into marketing. Now, this was actually born from my time at Broadbean. So at Broadbean, we had 150, 200 people, give or take. We had a fantastic marketing team. And I was part of the leadership team, right? I was a chief technology officer. I was brought into the brand. I was there for a decade of my life. I loved the brand. Despite all of that, marketing used to put together fantastic blog posts, white papers. They send an email around the office saying, could you put this on LinkedIn for me? And if I'm being completely honest, I used to delete the email. Sometimes I didn't even read it. Now, I didn't know how much that pisses marketing off until I went for lunch with the marketing director, a lovely lady called Laura. It was a Friday afternoon and she was on double vodkas. So I knew something was wrong because we only ever drank single vodkas on a Friday afternoon. So I said, Laura, she said, well, I spent 3 months of my life putting together this white paper, blood, sweat, tears, time, money, effort went into it, sent it around the office and 2 people shared it. I was like, that must be that email that I didn't do anything about. Now I went to the bar, bought another round of drinks, but then went home that night and started thinking, well, why didn't I share it? The number one reason I came up with, which I think we all know is nonsense, I'm too busy, right? Actually, if you dig deeper, if you peel the onion back a little bit more, it's because my inbox is my to-do list, and I've got a list of things I need to get done today, and that marketing thing just did not reach the top of the list. And the reality is, for a lot of recruiters there, it just never will, because they've got candidates coming in, they've got clients coming in, things that are going to help them hit a target this month, which is the wrong attitude, because marketing is long-term sales, right? You don't concentrate on this month, concentrate on what's going to happen at the end of the quarter, what's going to happen in 6 months' time. That's what we've set out to solve here. So it's really important that we do get your recruiters sharing your company content, because actually they've got 10 times the reach of your company. LinkedIn prioritizes personal brands over companies. So the next time marketing want you to share something, what they can do is actually do it via your assistant. So you'll get a text message. It will say, marketing would like to share this. This is what they want you to say. All you have to do is text back the word yes. And the moment you say yes, that post goes out to LinkedIn, it goes onto your Twitter, goes onto your Facebook company page, whatever it may be. So literally just say yes to a text. You can use Update to put your own thoughts on it as well. But the really cool thing is there's no apps to install, there's no passwords to remember. It's just great company content being approved with ease, which if they're bought into your brand, people want to do anyway. They just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, that's an excellent, it goes back into that built-in accountability.
Yeah.
Remove all the friction from execution.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people try to solve this by bribery, right? They say to people, "Oh, if you share the content, we'll give you an Amazon voucher." Right? In my experience, salespeople, recruiters just don't care about an Amazon voucher, right? We care about hitting our targets, making real money. So we just make it really easy for them to do. And what we found is by making it really easy, people then just do it. So
yeah,
this is great for timely content, right? I've just launched this blog post. I've just launched this website. I've just, whatever it may be. But you produce content all the time that's evergreen. And normally what happens with that fantastic content is it gets put in like a Z drive folder somewhere, like you've got a marketing folder that everyone's got access to. And nobody ever actually looks back and shares these things, right? Or it sits as a blog post on your website that Google's indexed, but nobody shares it for like 6, 12 months, 18 months, even though it's great content. What I want you to do with that content is actually store it in the vault. So then inside your account, you can go to the vault at any time, and that great company content that you've already put together is available for your recruiters at their fingertips. They can then press share. That will take that post from the vault onto their share screen, where they can then schedule it out. What's really cool about this, though, is once one person in the business shares this piece of content, it moves that content to the bottom of the vault for everybody else in the business. So we automatically spread out your great content across your business without any effort from you. Really, really powerful tool. And the final thing, we're nearly there, guys, is reporting. Now, I appreciate it's not the sexy part of the tech to talk about, right? But for me, it's probably one of the most important passes. So everything we do plugs into your website. Everything we do goes back to Google Analytics. So that hard ROI of website traffic, candidates, clients, you can measure inside Google Analytics. But we've also got our own reporting. Our own reporting in terms of time saved. How many jobs have you shared? How many stages have you shared? How much time has that saved you? You've got your broadcast reports, so that company content you've pushed out across the business. What's your share rate? You can break that down. But my favorite part is our leaderboard. Now, we know that recruiters are competitive people. So we track how many shares you do, how many jobs you share, how many clicks you get, how many comments you get, how many reactions you get. And we turn all of that into your Paiger score. The higher your Paiger score, the higher you are on the leaderboard. So you can really drive into that competitive nature of recruiters and start to bring your social setting into that conversation. No longer is it phone time, CV sent, whatever it is you're measuring right now. Actually, we can start measuring marketing impact as well. You can download this as a CSV, send it around the office, or you can plug it into TV screens if you want to as well. But it's a really, really powerful way to actually get people sharing content, and they want to be the best one, right? Everyone who wants to be number one on the leaderboard. So Paiger gives you that gamification. And that is Paiger. I'm going to stop sharing.
That was awesome, man. Thank you for walking through that. Like I said, I went through your entire training portal after we spoke a couple weeks ago and went through it myself, which was awesome. But it was so good to see you walk through that and just really showcase the firepower from the tool. My question, is what's next for you guys? Like, what's on the horizon, or any upcoming features or things that you're looking forward to?
There is. I mean, we've got so many things. I'm a techie, right? So I love building new stuff. So one thing
I knew this was going to be an open question for you. So
yeah. I mean, coding for me is a hobby. So it drives people crazy because I go home at night after work and I start coding, and I come in the next day and go, look, I built this, right? And marketing go, that wasn't planned. I go, yeah, I know, but it's brilliant. Look at it. Right. So I drive people absolutely nuts. But no, we've got some really big things coming. What I'd say is our goal is to be an all-in-one tool for recruiters, right? Which is a really ambitious goal. I think we're around 70% of the way there. So we've still got that 30% to go. And there's things like we're really good right now in terms of advertising your jobs, making them attractive, branded. I think we want to do the same thing, but for your candidates, right? So that's a little hint on what may be coming. But there is so much coming that I can't really disclose it. All I would say is if you are a customer watching this and you want something, pop me a message. I love building new stuff. I'm a techie at heart. I think we release probably more features, more updates than any other rec tech provider that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So for those that are interested in integrating, Paiger into their, recruiting process, what's the first step they should take?
The first thing to do is to go to our website, paiger.co, click book a demo. We can then have a chat. And it is really, really all about tailoring it to you. I want to understand what problems are you hoping to Paiger solves in your business? Which of those pillars are you struggling with? And then we'll really customize that to you, make sure we can solve those challenges. If we can, fantastic. We'll then work together. Our implementation process is very, very good. I think you mentioned our training, but you'll be assigned a dedicated implementation manager whose role it is to get you successful in the first 30 days. And then you've got a dedicated customer success manager there for going forward. We will catch up with you at the bare minimum quarterly, but probably more regularly. New features, that sort of stuff will always be told to you about. And they're there to make you successful. So as I say, we work with just under 800 staffing agencies now, around 7,000 recruiters on the platform. So yeah, I'd love to work with anyone else if you like what we've seen today.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Darren Westall, the founder of Paiger. Thank you, Darren, for taking the time to give us the demo. Thank you for all those that tuned in and watched with us today. If you didn't catch the whole show, it is up on my YouTube channel. If you just go to Donnie Gupton, the show, you can watch in complete entirety replay there on YouTube. It's also on normal podcast channels. It'll be on there probably by Monday. Obviously, you won't be able to see the demo, but if you wanted to listen to this, you could. If you can go in and tap that like button or just give Darren a little bit of love in the comments, we would appreciate that. Darren, what's one final piece of advice you would give to our audience here?
Oh, that's a good question. My final piece of advice, and I guess this comes from, I'm going to go away from LinkedIn because I feel like we've spoken about LinkedIn for a long time. The biggest thing I've learned from starting Paiger, we're now 40 people in the business, and it is that the people make up the business. So if you're scaling your business right now, take your time when hiring, be quick with firing, which is another thing, but find the right people because the people make up your business. I'm incredibly proud of the people we have at Paiger.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Darren. I appreciate you being here, man. That was excellent. Thank you for dropping all the value. Got some good comments in there after. If you guys are interested in exploring Paiger, I've dropped a link in the chat here, and there's links all around the training. If you are watching this in the replay, there's going to be a link in the description. So finding Paiger will be easy to do. Reach out to Darren and his team, and then we'll get you guys set up and rock and roll. And Darren, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you to everyone for watching.
Excellent. We'll see you guys next week with another show here live on LinkedIn. Talk to you then.